guys, and welcome to Faewood. So today I am starting the planning phase of a necklace that I want to start making. I wasn't sure when I would start actually creating this necklace, but I did have a pretty good concept of what I wanted to make. I really want to explore some projects that are in the dark fairy realm. So the necklace I wanted to make was definitely inspired very much by that. Now I was hoping to have some more of the supplies that I'm going to use for the necklace, but I've had some really shit luck with postage this year, like really shit luck with postage, which hopefully, all things being equal, I'll be sharing with you guys in a video if my luck changes. Maybe I don't know what's going on, but anyway, it's like multiple packages I've had issues with, and it's not any one issue, you know, it's not like any one thing's gone wrong. It's just some black luck in regards to shipping at the moment. So anyway, suffice to say, I don't have the supplies that I was going to use, and I don't know, time's getting away from me with some other projects. So I thought, you know what, I'm just going to sit down and start talking and fleshing out my idea so that, you know, once the materials come in, I can get started. Now, that being said, there may be a little bit of a delay between this video and me starting the necklace, to be honest, because I really do need to get some of those supplies before I start anything. So just know that, like, although I am starting this video now, yeah, don't get too worried if it takes me a little bit for the necklace itself to start. And I'm also like investigating a few different techniques, so which I'll talk about as we start going through the video a bit. Now I kept my eye out for some things that, you know, I was inspired by for a necklace, and happened to walk into a shop, I think it's called the Body Tree, and I did promise them I would tag them in the necklace that I make. So hi, hopefully I've remembered to tag you guys in this series, and you'll enjoy seeing what happened to the stones that I bought from you. But yeah, without further ado, let me show you what I picked up from them. So these are the two stones. Now, I believe this is just a quartz with a titanium coating on it. You know, so like it's quite common to get quartz crystals with these coatings on them that give it a real iridescent, quite a magical look. And I quite liked, now I don't know if that's quite picking up how pretty that is, but it's a very subtle coating. You can get these where they're just, you know, fully metallic blue looking, and, you know, just I guess in terms of, if you're thinking about it in terms of makeup, if there's any makeup aficionados watching, think your multi-chromes is sort of, you know, all that oil slick looking thing is what these often look like. These have a bit more subtlety to them, but just a very pretty soft colour. And I picked up the two just because I thought it might be nice to have two pieces in the necklace so that I can, you know, position them so that they're sort of, I don't know, like I'm mirroring something somewhere else in the necklace of the colour, because I like to do that. You know, it does definitely help with design to mirror an element somewhere else in the design instead of just having, you know, one element there and then nothing else that informed by that element, if that makes sense. Anyway, I thought, oh, they're interesting and something a bit different. They're obviously a little bit challenging to work with because, you know, they're not like your nice smooth round cabochon shape. They are jagged, they are strangely shaped, very unusual, and quite faceted as well. And there is honestly a couple of loose bits which I'll probably just snap off and not worry about. So they are a little bit fragile. So, you know, not terrible where, you know, you touch it and it breaks or whatever like that, but you wouldn't want to sort of slam it down on the table or anything like that after you take your necklace off or something. So, you know, I'll have to keep that in mind when I'm putting the piece together. And yeah, I just really like the colours in this. So I've done some images, like grabbed some images. I've been doing a little bit of looking around at things that I'm wanting to use in the necklace. And I'm totally at the start of the journey of trying to work out what I'm going to do with this necklace. So if you guys have watched any of these video series from me before where I'm doing a necklace, you know that I start with my diary and my art diary and starting to put together some designs and some plans about what I'm going to do in the necklace. So what I'm going to have to do is take you guys down onto the table with me, and we're going to start planning out this necklace. I'm also going to flick through, I've got the Brian Froud World of Faerie book, and I'm going to have a look through that for some inspiration for the necklace as well. Alright, let's have a look through this book first for some inspiration. So yeah, as I said, I definitely want to explore a dark, mysterious fairy vibe. I'm thinking very enchanted forest. I'm thinking lots of deep jewel tones, very purple blue heavy, very whimsical obviously, probably looking like, you know, a green lush forest with, you know, maybe some mushrooms, toadstools, that sort of thing. And then probably some fairies flying down on one side. Although when I do fairies for a necklace or something like that, I usually just do the wings. I don't know what it is about like doing a full-on fairy body and everything that I just sort of err away from. I usually just do more wings and do it that way. So I'm probably thinking one side is going to be, you know, like foresty and stuff, and one side fairies, maybe. I love the colours of this with those beautiful purple and mauvey tones, and, you know, then some brown and greeny colours coming in. That's gorgeous. So I picked this picture out because the colours just made me really think about that dark fairy enchanted vibe that I'm going for. I found a few pictures from this artist, J.K. Roots. I'll pop a link to their work in the video so that you can go and have a look and purchase any as well if you want to support that artist. Yeah, I'm not going to be doing anything that like matches this. It's really just giving me those vibes, I guess, the color scheme that I'm kind of looking at. I love the contrast of these really soft ethereal colors with these really dark, you know, jewel tone colors and really blackened color, blackened purples, blackened greens and all of that sort of stuff, and the mauvey colour kind of going through the whole thing. That's kind of what I want to capture colour wise, so I think this really helps me get my colour palette. Right, well, okay, got some things coalescing here, some ideas percolating in the brain cells, so many things that like are inspiring me though, so I'm gonna have to try and rein it in, because I'm like, let me put everything that I love in this necklace because it'll be great. So there are some things that I want to do if I can work out a way to do it though. I'd love to put some fairy wings in there, and I'd really have my heart set on getting some dip resin. Now I've seen one that's called Fantasy Film Dip It or something like that, and there's a whole host of different names for it. Can I find it in Australia? No. Goddamn right I can't. Nobody seems to sell it here. Nobody seems to ship it to here. I have checked everywhere. I can find it in the UK all over the place, and I've reached out to some of the sellers and they won't send it because it's classed as hazardous. And usually when that's the case, there will be some seller in Australia that stocks it that you can buy from. And I can't find them. I can't find anyone. I can't find it. I did find something on eBay that seemed like they might send it here, but it was also like a huge, like few litres of the stuff, I think, which is kind of overkill, and I prefer not to spend that much on it. There was another place in the UK that I didn't email to see if they would send it or not, but their shipping was like $40, and I was like, well, I just don't think I want to do that. There's got to be a better option. So if you guys know anywhere where I can get dipping resin, now, so like basically what you do is you form something out of wire. It's used a lot for like flowers. In fact, one of my little pictures, which I haven't stuck down yet, is exactly that. So it basically, you dip it in and it's thick enough that it'll coat the gap, like the whole area, almost like when you're blowing a bubble and you dip it into the stuff and it coats the whole thing. It's like that. I really would like to get some of this, but yeah, so far don't know if I can. I love the flowers made out of it too. Like, I really want this stuff. So I'm gonna try to get that. So potentially I'll make either some flowers or fairy wings out of this dip resin. Maybe both even, depending on how I like it. But initially the thought was I would use it for fairy wings because I could make some really small, delicate ones that will, you know, hold up in a necklace. So that's a concept there. This is just some sort of colour inspiration. I did also think about whether I wanted to put some toadstools around in a circle around the neck, because that's referred to as a fairy ring. And, you know, it's believed in Celtic mythology that, you know, if you get stuck in a fairy ring, you know, you sort of fall down into the Faewood, if you like, and you get, and time is different. You could go missing for years and it feels like a second, and you're only let out when they decide they want to let you out. And people there fully 100% believe in fairy rings. Like, not everyone, but some people fully 100% believe in it. My dad knew a lady who swears black blue that she got trapped in a fairy ring. So, you know, might be something to it. So anyway, I love that thought. I love that sort of concept, and I might put that into it, as long as it doesn't look too busy. And I'm not entirely sure how I want to make the toadstools at this point, but that's a possible concept. I think I'm going to go over to the next page now and start having a look at some of the materials that I printed off, and then we'll do a sketch and start putting some ideas down. Alright, so some materials that I was eyeing off to do this piece was some shibori silk ribbon. Now this is what I'm waiting on to arrive. Not this particular one actually. This is another one I was looking at, but I bought a whole bunch of different shibori lace, shibori silk ribbons, from a shop on Etsy in December, and I'm still waiting for those to arrive. And they were really nice, sort of really deep colours, although this one is also very nice. This is from a different seller, and I was looking at that, and in fact all this stuff, I think that it not included, is from a seller on Etsy that I'm considering placing an order with. And because they had some very nice Swarovski crystals with some really interesting finishes on them, some shibori silk with a really nice colour scheme that's, you know, in line with what I'm thinking of. Like, it would work anyway. I've got some other ones, like I said, that are totally different colours, so, you know, when I start playing around with it, I'll probably then have a better idea of what colour I want to go for with it. But basically the reason I was really thinking of shibori, now I've not used shibori before, but I'd really like to. I like the look of it, and it works well for embroidery jewellery. And I thought it would work really great with these particular stones because they're really irregular shapes. So I was hoping to use some of the silk to, you know, encase them a little bit so that they're, you know, they're not just sticking right out, I guess, that there's something kind of going over the top and around and that sort of thing. So that's what I'm hoping to use that for. I also think it will have a look that looks kind of like, you know, magic sort of flowing through, and that's, I'm hoping to do maybe like a little trickle of magic looking shibori silk that goes through, because the way that you can manipulate it, you know, it has that very organic, you know, can go thinner, thicker, you can lay it over the top of itself. It just has a really nice organic look to it that I think is going to be really nice. It's also going to be really nice with little clusters of crystals tucked in little areas, and the colours of these crystals are just so pretty that I really wanted to kind of pick out some of those colours, because it will sort of pick up on some of the colours in these stones. So I think that's going to look really gorgeous. I was also looking at the GIMP too, because the same shop has the GIMP. Let me tell you the name of the shop. Now, I have not ordered from there before, so I can't say anything about what they're like, but the shop that I'm looking at on Etsy is called Shibori Craft, and I think it's a Ukrainian shop. And they had just a nice selection of stuff that I thought would work really well. So I thought the GIMP would be great because I can use that as like sewing that on to give a really metallic finish. It's used a lot in embroidery to give some really interesting metallic edging to things. So they have like a mix pack that I'm considering getting so that I have some options. I don't know about the Satash braid. Again, I have not used this technique, but I'm not sure yet whether I want to incorporate it. It's a very distinct style, I feel, and I don't know yet whether it's something that will work with this piece. I almost want to just get it and use it differently because it's me and I do that. I just really like the look of it to potentially even just use as an edging to things in the piece. Like I still want to do an embroidered piece onto backing, I think, because of all the bits that I'm wanting to add. I'll have to do that. I don't know. I might get some of it anyway just so I can play around with it and see. And this, they had a really nice like deep, almost mauvey grey colour that I thought would work really nice with the other colours. I've already mentioned how much I really want to do the dip resin flowers. I'm so hoping I can find something to help me do that, because even not just for this piece, but I'd love to do it for other pieces as well. I just really love the look of it. And they did have some really nice crystal chain there too, but I do feel like I should probably check my stash first to see if there's anything that I could use, because I do have a bit of crystal chain, but this was a really nice nickel coloured, like so as in a darker silver with a rainbowy colour crystal that I thought was just so different and suitable for this piece. So I might get it anyway. So, okay, so I don't know. I mean, look, I've sort of been tossing around in my mind how I want to do this. I'm going to just start sketching something out and we'll see. We'll see. You know, I don't feel as solid with the design on this one as I have in the past. Alright, so I like the idea of this side, and I haven't drawn this large enough, but I like the idea of this side being more of a garden side, you know, and this being where maybe I'll have the crystals in a couple of spots here, you know, say one down here and one up here, something like that. Some shibori running around it, and you know, that sort of thing, and then little clusters of crystals tucked around some of the parts of the shibori, and you know, in the folds and stuff of that. And I'm thinking, and I don't know yet, but potentially using a little bit of my wool tops or silk tops to make some sort of green mossy colours and stuff in here, and like popping some like little leaves and things in here, either beaded or otherwise, I don't know yet. So, and in a bit of a swoop like that. I was also considering, and I don't know how much or whether I will, but at the bottom having like some wire that looks like branches. I don't know if you guys can even see what I'm even talking about here. Let's bring you in. Right, that's a bit better. So hopefully you saw some of what I was like talking about there. But basically at the bottom I'm considering maybe doing like some wire work that branches off, and then, you know, putting some like little beads at the end of them, just so it's very super organic looking, and you know, looks like an enchanted forest sort of on that side. And then if I can work out how on earth to do it, this is where I want, you know, fairies, or fairy wings at least, you know, going up this side of the neck there. Again, potentially I could have even more wire coming out and another fairy out here, having a lot of fairies kind of swooping up one side of the neck, and then this is the enchanted forest. So something kind of like that. Let's put a bit of colour to that, and I might do a larger picture of it too. Alright, I just added some little red sections here, which are actually to represent if I did the mushroom ring, just to see how I feel about them being in there. And I do actually kind of like that idea. I'll have to be very careful about the placement so it doesn't become too much, and also have to be very careful about the colours in here. Again, being too much, because you know, I always feel like when you come up with a concept, you know, make sure if you can pare back the concept a little bit, like it can still be super detailed and stuff like that, but you know, maybe instead of having too many concepts in one thing, you know, keep it more simplified. So I think this will work. And I think I'll have to play around with the colours in here so that they're more shaded and not too dramatic and too contrasted, because I think too much of that would be a bit much. But I also want these mushrooms to pop a little bit so that you can see the concept of the mushroom ring in there. I think that could work out quite well. I might leave it at that actually. I was going to do another picture, but I think for now, without having the materials to really play around with, this is enough of a kind of guidepost on what I'm thinking of doing. And it's good to have it down on paper to kind of get an idea of what I want to do. Again, I really want to see if I can do these dip resin flowers somehow. So if anybody can steer me in the right direction for that in Australia, that would be so amazing. Alright guys, well thanks for tuning in. I hope you've enjoyed seeing me start to flesh out this new concept for another necklace, and I hope you're keen for another necklace series. Like I said, there'll be some delay between now and starting it because postage, but hopefully the stuff comes very soon, and you know, I'll probably do a video of like starting to get some of the elements together and sketching out a more like a more realistic version of what it's actually going to look like once I've sort of gathered some materials and worked out what I can and can't use for the things that I want to do. Yeah, so that's about it for today. Hit subscribe if you want to see more from me, and for the rest of you, I'll see you next time in Faewood. Bye guys.